friends, it's Sarah Millerhouse here, and I'm excited to share with you a layout today for the Shimmerz Paints design team. I am using the July color kits, and I absolutely love all of the colors and the combinations of everything in the color kits for July. And then I'm also using the paper kits that come with the July collection, and they are so gorgeous. These flowers, there were so many wonderful bits and pieces that I wanted to fussy cut from all of these beautiful papers. So I did pull out a couple of the paper, those floral papers, and fussy cut lots of leaves and flowers. I spent a lot of time doing that, so I didn't film all of that and keep that in here because I knew it would be dreadfully boring for you. So I just did a little snapshot of some of those things. And then I did here cut out the butterflies from one of the patterned papers. They were kind of off to the left side of the patterned paper. So I cut out 2 of those butterflies, and I do end up using those. And then I also cut out from this kind of journaling block paper that was in the kit, I cut out 2 of the squares that I'm going to use to put behind my photos. So I cut both of those out. And then I was going to cut out some embellishments from that wonderful embellishment or ephemera sheet, but I didn't end up using any of those. So this is one of my favorite things I've ever done with any of my Shimmerz paints. And I use Shimmerz paints on almost every layout I make. So this is saying a lot. So what I did is I took a Vicky Bouton stencil. These are just like kind of rough circles. They almost look hand-drawn. And I took a black Sharpie fine point marker and traced the inside of the circles because I wanted a hard line around the circle that would be permanent, and when I started adding all of the wet mediums that it wouldn't bleed when I did that. So what I did is I just used those as an outline and colored with the Shimmerz paints. So I took all of the different colors from the July color kit and played coloring in these circles, and I loved every second of it. So I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, but I basically, there were no rules, and so it wasn't a pattern or anything like that. It was total random. So I took that first color that I did was I think I started with the Inklings Pistachio. So for the Inklings, you do add water. They come dry, and you add water to activate the color, and I kind of add the water and then let it sit for a few minutes. So I started with that. The Inklings Pistachio is a kind of a beautiful, oh my gosh, it's so shimmery and beautiful, kind of like a green, not sage color, but like a light green color. And then I took the Inklings Blue Spruce. So same thing there, you add the water to it. The third color I used was an Inklings in French Toast, and that is a fabulous French twist. Sorry, not French toast. Maybe I'm hungry, I don't know. French Twist is the name of that color, and it's a beautiful, surprising color. This one was super surprising to me. So it looks like a yellowy orange color, but then there's also, as you hold the paper and tint it with the light and things, it almost kind of has like a little pink tint to it also. It's amazing. That's an amazing color. I love the Inklings French Twist. And then the pink color in the bottle, that's a Vibes Tangerine Dream. So it can be sprayed, but I used it as like a watercolor. And then that darker green color I used was Vibes Green Tide Monster. So I used all of the colors in the July color kit. And I just took the colors. So when I was doing this, the only thing I will tell you as I was coloring in these fabulous circles that I end up absolutely loving, I tried to be kind of careful not to mix or blend colors too much that I thought would turn muddy or like ugly when they got mixed. So as I was doing this, like when I added the orange, the French Twist color, I was careful not to add it next to green that was super wet still, because green and orange turned to a muddy, ugly brown. So I just tried to be careful. I do have orange and green next to each other, but I tried to wait for the green to dry just a little bit and kind of move those colors around, or make sure that they didn't blend or mix too much. And then I did pull a couple of colors out of just my stash because I wanted some of the colors in the flowers I wanted to add and make a little bit brighter. So I pulled out Carrot Top, was the orange that you saw me use. And then the yellow was lemon, it's lemon something. I'll try to pop the colors down in the description when I add that down below. And then I also pulled out a bright red color. So I just mixed in a few more colors, but definitely you could totally stick just with the colors that are in the color kit this month, but I wanted to add the florals that are so beautiful in the paper kit. I wanted to pull out some of the brighter tones in those flowers in the background. And so then once I was finished with the circles and making sure all of those had beautiful kind of watercolor abstract-y looking paint, there it is up close, then I went and added a bunch of splatters. So to make it was a little too clean for me. I like everything to be a little bit messy, so just a little bit outside the lines. So at first I colored inside the lines, and then I went and added splatters to color outside the lines. So I did do some splatters that were just like kind of the drops, and then here I went and added also some bigger drops. And I love how this looks. I think I could do this with every color kit that comes in. This exact same kind of technique on the background, because I absolutely love how it looked with all of those colors blended and melded together and layered around each other and on top of each other. I absolutely adored it. So this layout, I am scrapbooking 2 pictures, still working through our Jamaica trip. So these are 2 pictures from one of our dinners when we stayed in Negril. We stayed at a beautiful villa type of place, and we had the most wonderful chef that came and cooked for us for our meals at this villa. And we loved our evenings as a family sitting around the table and to hear all about the Jamaica traditions and the Jamaican foods and all of those things. He taught us a whole bunch of things. My husband is a professional chef, so he absolutely loved getting to learn from and listen to another professional chef and, learn about all of the different Jamaican food traditions. And every night and every day when we sat down to eat while we were at this place, they had the most beautiful floral arrangements that I had ever seen. They were absolutely amazing, using lots of the natural flowers and vegetation and things that Jamaica is known for. So I wanted a layout that was super over the top with florals, because all of our meal, that's one of my favorite things when we sat down. It was always beautiful, all of the flowers and things that they did. So in one of the photos, you can see some of those bright, beautiful flowers that they did. And when I saw this paper, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be perfect to capture that memory. So I layered some of the patterned paper from the color kit collection behind my photo. At first I did black. So to kind of tie into that black outline that I did on the circles, I backed my photos with a very, very thin very, very thin frame of black. I usually don't do that or add a black border to my photos. So that was new for me, but I added that black and then added the patterned paper, and then layered those grid papers that I had fussy cut out behind it, layered both of those behind there off to the left. And then the flowers are going to take center stage on the right side of the layout. So I'm going to layer all of those up. They're gorgeous. They're so, so, so pretty. And really the background was inspired by the flowers, because all of these flowers in these patterned papers in the July kit are sort of like watercolored and abstract looking. And I loved how all of those colors kind of married together and looked like someone had hand painted each of these beautiful flowers. And so I wanted the background to speak to that. And it absolutely, for me, works beautifully together. So I love how the background, me using all of those beautiful Shimmerz colors and paints, how well that coordinated with the beautiful abstract watercolored flowers. So I'm just layering those in. This layout in person, I wish you could see it in person, because the layers of flowers and all of the different things, as I'm adding each of the flowers, you can see I'm bending up the leaves and rolling the petals and kind of having those be as full of texture as they can possibly be. So I'm adding craft foam behind them and layering those up, and then it's just beautiful in person how thick and beautiful the vegetation looks on the right side of this layout. So I absolutely love it. And then for my title, I pulled out some Bramble Fox words that I had in my stash. I'm trying to use some of those things that I've got in my stash that I've had forever. So that middle word that is the perfect color to match the flowers and the colors in the color kit that says Getaway. It's supposed to be one word, but I accidentally broke it, so I glued it back together as I was adding it to the layout. So it says Getaway, and then the word right above it is beautiful. It has an arrow through it. So Beautiful Getaway is the title. And then I added the butterflies to the left. Those are popped up on craft foam, and then the edges of the wings are definitely, I squeezed those together and kind of bent them up so it looks like they're flying off the page, which I love. And then I am going to add one of the epoxy flare stickers that comes in the color kits. It says Summer. I add that just to the bottom left of the word Getaway. So I'm going to be adding that right now, and that matches beautifully with the Inklings Blue Spruce and Pistachio. Like the colors on that they're perfectly coordinated. All the guesswork for the color coordination is taken out for you when you buy the paper kit and the Shimmerz color kit. So beautiful, beautiful. And then I pulled out my box of goodness. This is one of my favorite things to use. So I added some half pearls and some crystals and some blings. Those are all from Buttons Galore. So I added those to like in a little cluster underneath the word summer. And then I also added them to the centers of all of the flowers, and then just in little clusters around my floral cluster. So I've got lots of shimmery and shiny things added to all of the layers. So when I pick this layout up and move it around, I've got it on my lap right now as I'm talking about it, and as I pick it up and move it around, it's full of sparkle. It looks like I have jewelry on the layout mixed in with all of those flowers. So I absolutely love how that looks. And then I'm also going to add some pops of color. These are from scrapbook.com. So I pulled out the colors that coordinated the best with the colors that spoke to me from the color kit. And I added some dots down the body of the butterfly, both of the butterflies. And then I went and added just some dots of color to the clusters, the embellishment clusters, and then around the middles of the flowers. So I added lots of little details there. So you can see all of the shimmery, shiny goodness. And oh my gosh, look at those colors on the background. I love how those look. I'm gonna have to do that same technique again. I love how that looks with all of those Shimmerz colors painted together. And that is the final layout. Here are some still shots of that layout and some close-ups so you can see all of those beautiful details. And then if you have any questions, pop them down in the comments. If you enjoyed the process, if you'll give the video a like, I would appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to. Tap the bell for notifications. And then I hope you have a beautiful week. Talk to you guys soon, or see you soon. Bye.